Should we talk about banks for a moment? Because banks seem to have lost the plot of late. We know about the Coutts Bank fiasco, when Nigel Farage had his account taken away from him, and he then sort of managed to completely and utterly ridicule and make fun of that bank, not in a very, very serious way. It then became clear that an awful lot of banks, and included in that all of the big high street banks, the big four as they used to call them, not just NatWest, which owns Coutts, but also Lloyds, also HSBC, also Barclays, you know, they all basically admitted that they do have a policy which could result in the closure of a bank account if they don't like what you're doing, or in some cases, what you're saying. At the moment, we're in the grip, you might say, of an inflationary spiral, of a cost of living crisis, of a situation where many people are finding it hard to make ends meet. So you would think the banks would see that as an opportunity to help people, to be of more assistance. But of course, what we have instead is the invasion of the wokeists. The banking sector has become one of the most woke sectors of industry in this country. And given that it's such a big part of our industry, because financial services are one of the biggest exports that this country actually has, I would be rather surprised if you didn't know, for example, that the Bank of England has issued guidelines to people who work there to say that people of any gender can become pregnant, that they've got some gender-neutral toilets on the 7th floor, and that basically what you should do is take more care about how you address people's pronouns than whether you should lend them money or not. The Bank of England at the moment stands accused of putting the interest rates up for the 14th time in a row yesterday to 5.25%, making life very, very difficult for an awful lot of people. On top of that, we had the news yesterday that if you run a gun club or if you get involved in some kind of hunting, you may indeed have a problem getting a bank account. You may indeed have a problem transferring money. You might not be able to actually take any payments on credit cards or on debit cards because apparently the banking sector doesn't like what you're doing. We then find out today that an organisation called UK Finance, which is a trade body for British bankers, has issued a statement regarding guidelines as to things you can and cannot say. One of the things they say you shouldn't say anymore is black market. You shouldn't say dummy, as in somebody with a lack of knowledge in any given subject. You should call them a beginner. Well, it's not quite the same, is it? Somebody who's a beginner isn't a dummy, and somebody who's a dummy isn't always a beginner. So once again, the language is being completely and utterly changed to mean something else. Kill chain. Apparently, that used to be used as a cyber attack reference. Now, apparently, you're supposed to say attack chain. What's the difference? Man in the middle. Also, something that shouldn't be said. That should be changed to network interception. And sanity check, just in case people think it's rude to call someone insane, should be changed to functional test. I mean, I'm sick to death of these wokeists who want to change the English language and make it less accurate. The whole point of words is that they're supposed to describe something accurately. If you start describing things inaccurately, nobody knows what you're talking about. If somebody started talking to you about a network interception, what does that even mean? If somebody said to you that somebody who was rather stupid was a beginner, that's kind of insulting to beginners, isn't it? And what about Jeremy Hunt? I mean, apparently staff at a bank that refused Jeremy Hunt an account described the Conservatives as evil. What? This is the kind of thing that's going on out there, and it's wrong. So can we please ask the banking business to get back to banking? Just bank. Don't debank, bank, and do the banking business right, which is making money for your customers, making sure that you're supporting investors, making sure that you're supporting the British economy. Surely it's not that difficult, is it? Goodness me.